Thanks for inviting me and having me here. I would like to speak about especially mainly 3 points. First off, the role of alarm phone at SAR zone or in SAR operation. The second thing is the statistics releasing the increasing of this at the Mediterranean and what we are witness, and also the search and rescue that happened by the state actors. And the third thing will be like a case study on Darzot 5, which faced problems that Francesca mentioned in the Mediterranean, and alarm phone was observing closely the operation from the beginning. So briefly, alarm phone, it's a hotline for all people in distress. It's kind of alarm phone, not a rescue. It's alarm number, not a rescue number. We ourselves not represented in the SAR zone, but that's not mean that we are not close to what's going on at sea. We observe the lack of responsibility and the absence of SAR vessels since few months now, and the situation is getting worse and worse, as the people before me mentioned. Alarm phone is a transnational network around the Mediterranean and Europe, over 150 activists. It's made up of volunteers, most of whom have been active in the external borders of Europe for many years in the network. The network started in 2014, in October 2014, and that became because of incident. People were in distress and they have no phone to call, no one respond for their distress call. And the idea became to be like an independent or natural alarm phone to observe the rescue operations and to collaborate as well, and to provide like dry facts to coast guards and responsible actors of rescue. Our goal actually to provide a safe rescue for people in distress, because as we see when there is no one observing what's going on, actually political takes it to extreme, to the baddest way. As numbers say that in 2018, just 64,000 people arrived to Europe. And we see this year how it's really conflict and how it's hard during the political situation and all the discussions and the policies that the EU command to make. And that's actually not there is no explanation for that, except that in 2015, when people just crossed the borders and became in Europe, the politicians themselves found themselves in the reactive position. And that's why it was like the policies of open doors. And now after 3 years, with the lack of the policies dealing with the people coming to Europe looking for a new life, safe life, looking for opportunities, fleeing war and conflict zones. There is no actually policies dealing with this situation. We're still dealing with refugees, and asylums are just numbers and figures. And even when we see to the search and rescue operation by UNIVERMED or Frontex, it's decreased 83% compared to the last year, to 2017. Like in the first half of the year, from January to July 2018, it's 83% fewer than last year, the same period of time. Also, there is like last year it was 33 cases, and this year it's just
22 by Univerformed, and by Frontex it's 189 in 2018 and 406 in 2017. So logically the numbers of people that actually got increasing, and as we see this absence at the Mediterranean of search and rescue vessels, and also the NGOs started, like in 2015, started to take a place on search and rescue operations, and nowadays they facing this confront and this fight from the states and from different actors to stop their work and start accusing them of smuggling and violating laws and letting people die at sea. Like just in June, as mentioned, 629 just in 1 month. Just last week, over 100 in front of the Libyan border. Was silence. Like just some say that people, some survivors started to talk about what's going on, and that's what really what we know, that what we reach of the information. That so it's really hectic to see that how it's gone. Especially, I went back to Alamfon. Alamfon observed 2,000 cases in Aegean, Western Mediterranean, and Central Mediterranean since we started. And in the Western Mediterranean, the situation escalated, and it's another phenomenon or another way of crossing than the Central Mediterranean. The media all the time talking about the Central Mediterranean, and when we talk about Central Mediterranean, it started with Libya, like this is the land of health, everyone is coming from there, and nowadays we just figure out that, oh, there is Tunisia as well, and we have Algeria and Morocco and Egypt, all the southern neighbors are gates to Europe, and the way to find a solution, not just to deal with it as a crisis. It's not a migrant crisis, it's a political crisis. And actually that brings us to a clear case of Zarzat 5, which happened in July. This, like, we got a distress call from a boat on Tuesday, 10 of July, and then we observed that, and then we lost the contact with them, and then on Friday, people were stuck in some petroleum station in the Mediterranean. And they wasn't in the Maldives zone. And in the beginning, before the Zarzat got involved, in the case there was Carolina 3 would offer them assistance. And then Zarzat got by MRCC Malta to rescue people, and then they said that direct them to Tunisia as a safe harbor, like a nearest safe harbor, which was not. But Zarzat is a Tunisian ship, so it was like a trick. You are in the international water, the nearest harbor is Tunisia. Tunisia is a safe harbor, which is not. Many reports saying that simply that at least that if you are LGBTQ, you are not safe there. So this is the minimum. We are not talking about political rights, we are not talking about citizenship rights, economical, just your basic right. You are forbidden there. And the people, it was 40 people from different African nationalities actually on board, and they kept at sea in Zarzat since 13 of July until 29 of July. like 16 days. And everyone is withdrew the responsibility to us. The Maltese say, no, it's not our responsibility. It's Tunisia, and Tunisia didn't give the permission of this embarkation to the vessel, saying, no, it's not our responsibility, we will not accept this. And then there was this political discussion between the two states, and after Alarm Phone released two statements, Malta came and accept the responsibility, but also argue in a different way. The case now, it's not us. And they played like such a legal game, depending on human rights law and law at sea, and people kept in dilemma for 16 days. And there was a pregnant woman, and nobody cares. Until Tunisia, in 29th of July, just released that statement that they agreed to disembark the ship and accept the people, and they put them in a refugee camp. And the absence also of UNHCR, because UNHCR was there all the time, and they were taking the Maltese state side. Like the question was like, UNHCR, this is the UN Institute for Refugees. This is here to protect refugees, not to defend the state positions. And even the statement that released by UNHCR was like, okay, how can you protect these people if you cannot do your jobs there? You know that there is no frame for asylum seeking, like there is no national law or system for applying for asylum. And you as UNHCR are responsible for this system, you cannot do your work. So why you defend state positions? Like to keep your own position? And after that, UNHCR said like thank Malta and thank Tunisia for their nice humanitarian decision and accepting these poor people. And then what happened? Nothing. We didn't learn from this case. The lesson was obvious. First, it started with the SAR NGOs. Don't do that, otherwise you will be accused for smuggling and helping people. Second thing, that when just a commercial ship got ordered by MRCC to rescue people, they kept it at sea in a limbo for 16 days, which business-wise, a big damage. So next time, as a commercial ship, when I'm passing by and seeing people dying, I won't let them die. And this was the result last week when by a chance found 100 drowned people. No one knows about them. But people say that there was ships come and goes and no one stopped. Why? Because the message is clear. It's not your business. Handle your business. So obviously after that I want to just say that from a human perspective, simply people got killed in cold blood, dramatized at sea. And nobody cares. No one cares. And we are still dealing with numbers and figures, and we need to find a political solution. It's not about refugees on the other sides. It's not about the people that want just to cross for whatever. Even if it's economical reason, you have to find a frame for the people who want to come here for economic reason. We have to change this stereotypes about the people who just came here to take a piece of cake. There is no piece of cake. It's a hard life, and everyone knows that. And we are trying even through Alarm Phone to raise awareness on the other side of the Mediterranean for the people that are willing to cross. We are not affecting their decision, but we are providing them information and trying to be transparent, to let them decide well what to do. Because there is no heaven in Europe, but they don't know. Because it started since ages. The migration is not nowadays phenomenon. Yeah, maybe it's a new stage since 2015 when the Syrians started it. But the politician was like, welcome, you are welcome, just come. So, and they come. And now we are dealing with this, trying to find trying to find someone to blame. And all the time the migrants who cross, we blame them. How they cross this, how they put their life at risk. Because they are fleeing war and conflicts. Because they are looking for normal life. Thank you.